Welcome to the NOCTI Standard Setting Training for Subject Matter Experts. Thank you for choosing to be part of this important process. Your expertise helps us establish fair and defensible passing scores that reflect real-world expectations in your field. Standard setting determines the minimum score a test taker must earn to be considered competent. We call this the cut score. Your participation ensures that this cut score accurately represents what an entry-level worker needs to know and be able to do to perform their job safely and effectively. We truly appreciate the time, experience, and judgment you bring to this process. In this video, you'll learn how to review written and performance assessments, how to navigate the NOCTI portal, and how to apply the modified Angoff method to support fair and consistent cut scores. Before we begin, please note this training covers all types of standard setting tasks, written assessments, performance assessments, and both student level and teacher level reviews. Not every section may apply to your assignment. Be sure to check your project email for the exact components you'll be rating. However, watching the full training will help you feel confident and prepared. Shifting your mindset from test taker to test reviewer. During this review, you'll look at each test item differently than you might be used to. You are not taking the test and you are not choosing the correct answer. Instead, you'll review each item through the eyes of the minimally competent candidate, or MCC. A minimally competent candidate is not an A student or a top performer. They are much closer to a solid average C-level graduate, someone who meets the minimum expectations for safe, effective entry-level performance. It may be helpful to keep a note nearby that says, "Think minimally competent candidate." That simple reminder will help keep your perspective consistent throughout your review. Understanding the minimally competent candidate. For student-level assessments, the MCC candidate is someone on their first day on the job. They have completed their training, can work safely with normal supervision, and are capable but not perfect. They may hesitate, make mistakes, and continue learning. For teacher-level or experienced worker assessments, the MCC candidate represents someone with about 3 years of field experience. They are trained and knowledgeable, but not yet experts. Throughout the entire review, always focus on the borderline candidate, the person who should pass, not the star performer, not the top student, just the minimally competent one. Assessing the NOCTI Review portal. You'll receive an email with your portal link and login instructions. After creating your password, you'll sign a confidentiality agreement. This means you may not screenshot, copy, or share any test content. Protecting item security is essential. Once inside the portal, you'll see the test assigned to you, typically a written assessment and a performance assessment. You may begin with either one. Reviewing written assessments. When you open a written assessment, you'll see the question, the answer options, and the correct answer shown in bold. You do not need to choose an answer. Your task is to evaluate how difficult the question would be for a minimally competent candidate. Using the modified Angoff method, you'll assign a difficulty rating, a percentage representing how many MCCs you believe would answer the item correctly. A high percentage, such as 80 to 95%, indicates an easier item. A lower percentage, such as 30 to 40%, indicates a more difficult item. Some items may display a p-value which shows the percentage of pilot test takers who answered the question correctly. For example, a p-value of 0.91 means 91% of students answered correctly, and a p-value of 0.38 means only 38% of students answered correctly. These pilot test takers are students only. You'll only see p-values on selected items, and they are provided as context only. Your rating should be based on your professional judgment, not the p-value. Understanding yellow flags and distractor behavior. Some test items may have a yellow flag, which appears when 30% or more of test takers selected the same incorrect answer. When you see a flag, pause and consider the following. Is the distractor partially correct? Is it outdated or misleading? Is the wording unclear? Could more than one answer seem correct? Or is the item simply challenging but still a valid item? If you believe the item is rigorous but appropriate, you may note that in the comment box. If the distractor appears problematic, please let us know. Using the comment box effectively. As you work through the ratings, your primary role is to evaluate each item and enter your judgments in the system. While comments can be helpful, please focus first on providing complete and thoughtful ratings, as these are essential for establishing the cut score. The comment box is your opportunity to improve the assessment. Please be specific and constructive. Useful comments may include correcting spelling or grammar, suggesting clearer wording, updating outdated information, noting when a distractor is correct, pointing out graphics or text that may confuse MCCs. Clear and focused comments help NOCTI strengthen the assessment. Rating variation across the test. Not every question should receive the same rating. A valid test includes a mix of easy, moderate, and difficult items. Avoid rating everything in the 70s, assigning very high ratings because the content feels easy to you, assigning very low ratings because you're underestimating the abilities of an MCC. Giving this thoughtful variation supports accurate cut scores and future item development. Navigating the portal. At the bottom of each question, you'll see the following options: Next, Previous, Come Back Later, Summary. Come Back Later is especially helpful if you need to pause or revisit an item. The summary page shows complete and incomplete items along with your average rating and the acceptable range. Understanding the average rating and acceptable range. Your average rating is the overall average of all difficulty ratings you've assigned. The acceptable range helps ensure your ratings are not unrealistically high or low. If your average lands outside this range, treat it as a helpful reminder to recalibrate. This safeguard helps prevent extreme ratings that could lead to an unreasonable cut score. Submitting your review. Once you've completed all items and your ratings look appropriate, please select Submit Your Review. Please double check your work before submitting. Once submitted, you cannot reopen the assessment. Reviewing performance assessments. Performance assessments follow the same modified Angoff principles but are presented differently. You'll see test taker instructions, scoring criteria, rating options for each task. For each task, ask, what would a minimally competent candidate be capable of on their first day on the job? Some tasks use different rating scales, such as A and E, A and C, or A through E. Choose the rating that reflects the realistic performance of an MCC, not a perfect performance. Rating everything too high creates an unrealistic cut score. Rating everything too low results in an overly lenient one. Balanced judgment is essential. Final checks and support. As you work through both assessments, ensure that terminology is current and industry accurate. Graphics and instructions are clear. The reading level is appropriate. Items are unbiased. Each written question has only one correct answer. Performance tasks reflect real job expectations. If you notice anything that needs correction, please share it. Your insights are extremely valuable. If you need assistance, your project email includes contact information for the NOCTI staff ready to help. Before beginning your review, remember this training covers all standard setting tasks, but your assignment may include only some of them. To confirm completion of this training, please reply to the project email that provided the training link and include your verification code. Your code is Cut Score Crew. Including this code ensures you receive the correct portal credentials. Thank you again for your time, expertise, and commitment. Your contributions help ensure NOCTI assessments remain fair, industry-aligned, and truly reflective of what entry-level candidates need to know and be able to do. You are now ready to begin your modified Angoff review. We appreciate everything you do.